back in Tampa. Saints still with an opportunity for the top seed in the NFC. They can clinch the NFC South with a victory today. Tampa Bay Bucs still alive. Before we get started, down to the field, we check in with Sarah Walsh. Sarah.
Thanks, Kenny. Sean Payton held what he called a State of the Union address about the #1 seed this week. He said he's not taking for granted some of the young guys may not understand playoff scenarios and what a first-round bye means. He tried to hit home. It means that you are one win away from an NFC Championship game. You're just 2 wins away from the Super Bowl, and that this game is not about avenging a Week 1 loss. The Bucs tackle Gerald McCoy doesn't buy that. He says Payton comes in here with a point to prove, and he's the kind of coach that's going to bury you if you let him. Kenny, Grundy?
Thanks, Sarah. A teaching moment for Sean Payton earlier this week. On the other side, Dirk Cutter's Buccaneers have won 2 straight over San Francisco and Carolina. The Bucs 4-2 here at home. The Saints 5-1 on the road. Saints won the toss, elected to defer. Will Lutz gets things started. We are underway in Tampa. Jameis Winston and the Bucs offense will start from their 25-yard line.
Well, I think, Kenny, the big question with Jameis Winston, can he sustain this form, or will he resort back to those turnovers? Look, I think this is his first real test. Yes, he played well against San Francisco and Carolina in those wins, but this Saints defense has been rocking lately. He's going to have his biggest test today.
Saints defense first against the run. Winston has not turned the ball over in the victories over the last 2 weeks. 3 wide receivers set. Adam Humphries in motion. Peyton Barber in the backfield. First and 10 from the 25-yard line. Off the fake to Barber. Winston looking to hit Barber out of the backfield, incomplete. Second and 10 as we check out the Buccaneers' #1 ranked offensive unit.
Well, it's been a lot less explosive of late, but no Deshaun Jackson again today, so I'm keeping an eye on Chris Godwin. He had a 100-yard day last week. He's been the guy that's had to step up in his absence. And with the matchup with Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore on the other side, I think Chris Godwin's the guy that you should pay attention to today.
Godwin, number 12. DeMar Dotson returns at right tackle, missed last week's game. Empty backfield as Winston with a perfect touch connects with Mike Evans in Saints territory. You were just talking about that matchup of Evans and Marshawn Lattimore.
I got to tell you what, this Tampa offense on second down, they're the most explosive in the league, and you got to win at the line of scrimmage if you're Marshawn Lattimore against Mike Evans. Down the field speed is deceptive. We saw it in Week 1. This exact same play over the outside shoulder. Great throw by Jameis Winston, and a huge play to start this game for Tampa Bay.
36-yard connection. Evans with 7 catches, 147 yards in that Week 1 matchup. From the 39-yard line of the Saints, it's Barber, stays on his feet, has a first down all the way to the New Orleans 26-yard line. 13 yards for Peyton Barber against this top-ranked run defense of the Saints.
Yeah, I think the last 100-yard game against the Saints was the Bucs, right? And look, they've got some good players on this defense, none better than Demario Davis. I think he's playing at a Pro Bowl level right now. And they got some other good players in the secondary. They're going to have a tough challenge today.
Saints allow only 75 yards per game on the ground following the 13-yard run by Barber. Off the play fake, Winston can't find anyone. Had a couple of big runs last week against Carolina, and he takes this one all the way down to the 12-yard line of the Saints. 14 yards for Jameis Winston.
Well, the theme continues with Jameis Winston. You just got to watch these guys on this side of the line of scrimmage. You have to contain Jameis Winston. I said it last week when we had this game. He's a sneaky athlete, and he's not scared to run out of the pocket. Nothing down the field. The coverage was good. So saw A.J. Klein slip right there in your screen, and it opened up the lane for Jameis Winston. Another big run for the big quarterback.
So back-to-back runs of 14 and 13 yards by Barber and Winston. First and 10 from the 12. And this time, Barber bottled up. Davis leading the way along with Marcus Davenport. 2nd and 9 upcoming.
Just a little bit of extracurricular right there to start the game. I'm excited for both of these offenses. We know what Drew Brees and his high-flying offense can do, but now I said it earlier, this Bucs offense has been a lot more patient now that Jameis Winston has been at quarterback, not trying to throw the ball down the field as much, even though we saw an early explosive play. more balance. I think it's going to pay dividends for them this afternoon.
2nd and 9 from the Saints 11. Winston to the end zone. He was looking for Godwin. And that was broken up by Eli Apple.
It was funny, Kenny, right? We were talking to Sean Payton, and he said, I want Eli Apple on the line of scrimmage. He's just a better corner when he's up. He's got all this athletic skill. That coverage is absolutely perfect. Great job there, setting up a 3rd and long here inside the red zone. And I know earlier in the year, this is where this Tampa Bay team struggled. See if we're able to get a score here, start this football game. Look at Cam Brake, bottom of your screen. Loves this red zone target.
3rd down and 9. Winston looking for Brake. He makes the catch for a touchdown. There is a flag. You called it, Rondé. Cam Brake, the target in the red zone for Jameis Winston.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. That penalty flag. Touchdown.
Well, just working hard here. This is good coverage too, but at the end of the route, you're going to watch him just trying to hold on to Cam Brake. And look, they put 3 receivers to the other side. Jameis Winston knows right away that there's a guy on the line of scrimmage. It's man-to-man. You see Anzalone coming over to trying to help late, but the throw was perfect, and Cam Brake's got such big, strong hands. He's a red zone threat, and we knew it. Touchdown, Tampa.
The tight end from Harvard, his 5th touchdown of the season. The Buccaneers reached the end zone on their opening drive of the game for the 5th time this season. Cairo Santos. Santos adds the extra point. Buccaneers drive 75 yards. Winston to Brake. 7-0 Bucs. There's Cameron Brake. 11-yard touchdown reception. 7 plays, 75 yards. And for the Bucs quarterbacks, Winston and Fitzpatrick, 30 touchdown passes this season. That's a new franchise record. Santos will kick it off. Alvin Kamara back deep. He has not returned a kickoff this season. 2 last year as a rookie. Kamara out across the 25 to the 27-yard line. So our first look, Rondé, at Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints offense.
Well, he continues to be impressive. I asked him yesterday, can you confirm how old you are? Because I remember playing against a guy named Drew Brees, and he was this good back then, but I think he is as good as any quarterback in football right now with those efficiency numbers, and he's really doing it, Kenny, with a bunch of guys that nobody heard of, free agents, and outside of Michael Thomas, who's a stud, we all know that. There's a bunch of guys, young guys, that have to step up for the Saints offense the rest of the season.
Are you sure it's the same Drew Brees that you played against? There's Kamara on 1st down, and he's bottled up. Jason Pierre-Paul leading the way.
When you look at this Saints offense, Kenny, and to me it goes through Alvin Kamara. Yes, he has some help on the outside. Mark Ingram, who's coming into the game now, but because of that lack of experience at wide receiver, the Saints essentially use him in that role. He could be a slot guy. You'll see both runners in the game at the same time. He'll be out of the backfield. It's a tough matchup for anybody, linebackers or secondary guys.
On 2nd down, the toss to Mark Ingram. Not much. Tackled at the 30-yard line. Jordan Whitehead leading the way for the Bucs defensively.
Well, I don't know if there's been a hotter defense in football than the Bucs the last 2 weeks. Takeaways, everything is up to task here, and it starts with Gerald McCoy in the middle. He doesn't have the numbers, and you ask me if I have a down year, he'll say, no, I'm doing my job. I'm providing leadership qualities and helping these other young Bucs defenders, and it's definitely shown in the past 2 weeks. Big 3rd down here for New Orleans. See if they can match that drive by Tampa.
Only 16 3-and-outs for the Saints all season. 2nd fewest to the Rams. Catch made by Michael Thomas. It's close. Needed to get to the 38-yard line. And Thomas did pick up a Saints 1st down.
Yeah, Bucs are just playing a little soft zone here. They don't want anything to go over the top, and it was close to this line. I mean, our line is superimposed, of course. I don't think we'll waste a challenge in this situation, but You know, the Saints told us, too, what they look for in their offense, that first down, and it usually gets them going. They like to play fast. Keep an eye on that right here.
From the 38, off the fake to Mark Ingram. Pass is caught in Bucs territory, taken down to the 42-yard line. It's Thomas once again for a gain of 20.
And again, it's just this 3 deep, 4 under zone. And Drew Brees loves these coverages. So many teams play this look that Drew Brees hasn't figured out. His receiver, Michael Thomas, just has great feel with him. There's a reason he has 93 catches on the year now, which is about what, a third, 2/3 more than any other receiver on the football team. You've got to be able to take care of that one guy in this pass offense.
He had a franchise record 16 receptions in that first game against Tampa Bay. That pass could not be handled by the tight end, Josh Hill. 2nd and 10 coming up. Heavy rain earlier this morning, Rondé, but sunny skies, not raining anymore here in Tampa.
Yeah, that had nothing. The weather had nothing to do with that drop at all, right there. But look, it was pouring this morning when I left the house. We left the hotel. It was hard. The field was covered for most of the first 2 hours that we were here.
Taysom Hill on the field for the first time. Set up to the right side. And Mark Ingram found a big hole, has a first down. Flag thrown at the end of the play. Ingram to the Tampa Bay 27. He gains 15. But it looks like it's coming back.
Holding. Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
That's on the left tackle, Jermon Bushrod, starting his 4th consecutive game for the injured Teron Armstead.
And I think Armstead will be back in another week, but he's going to be lined up a lot of the day against Jason Pierre-Paul, who is by far this Bucs' best defender. Got his hands full. I mean, he's played well. I haven't noticed much in terms of watching the film, in terms of him getting beat a lot. But when you're lined up against that monster right there, number 90, or put your chin strap up, buckle up. It's going to be a tough, long day.
Pierre-Paul's had a terrific first season in Tampa. 11.5 sacks for the former New York Giant, 2-time Pro Bowler. 2nd down and 18 as the Saints set up the screen to Kamara. But it did not fool the Bucs. He gains just 3. Kevin Minter came up to make the tackle.
Yeah, it's a really good open field tackler, and you know how good Alvin Kamara is in the open field. This is, to me, the Saints, this is the best screen team in football. They do so many different types. If you have to challenge your eyes as a defender, you need defensive linemen to come into the fray, but your linebackers have to be good, and that's a great play by Kevin Minter there to set up a 3rd and long.
Minter played only 4 snaps defensively last week, had 3 tackles and a sack in the game against Carolina.
I think that's what you call efficiency, too.
It is now 3rd down and 15. Saints must get to the 32 for a first down. Brees had that pass knocked down. JPP got a piece of it.
And of course, it's Jason Pierre-Paul. You know, he lines up all over the defense. This defensive line's done a good job running games. Watch this game inside. Gerald McCoy's going to go up. JPP's going to go underneath. And then he knows he can't get there. Just become ball aware. Look, can't get to the quarterback. Get your hands up. Affect the passing lane. Get off on 3rd down.
So Thomas Morstead out to punt. Only 28 punts for Morstead over the Saints' first 12 games. They don't punt very often. And this will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Bucs will start from their 20. Good start for Tampa Bay. Winston to Brate on the opening possession. 7-0 Bucs here in Tampa. Drew Brees and the Saints trailing 7-0. Drew checking out photos from that last series. Bucs start from their 22 tight ends. Justin Watson on the field. No Mike Evans. On first down, up the middle, it is Barber for a gain of 4. Mario Davis the tackle. Evans back out, had that big 36-yard reception on the Bucs' first possession.
Oh, he's having yet another fantastic career. I can't think of many guys who have started a career with as much impact as Mike Evans has here in Tampa. He's a fun guy to watch, obviously, because he's so competitive. He'll take this challenge with Marshawn Lattimore and say, it's going to be on me to win it today.
His 5th straight 1,000-yard season.
Hey, 5-53.
Second down and 6. Winston steps up, moving to his left. Now he throws, and that was broken up, intended for Brate. Davis defending.
There's really good coverage on the outside. Mario Davis is right here working on Cam Brate. It's tough for a linebacker to do this, but I think that's the addition. That's what he has added. Obviously, he's a great tackler. He's one of the leading tacklers in the NFL, but his coverage ability, I think, is what's separating him from some of the other guys that I've watched on tape this season.
Former New York Jet, Cleveland Brown. Bucs best in the league on third down. Let's get to the 30. There is a flag, pass intended for Chris Godwin.
I think Eli Apple got a little tug here.
Defense, number 25. Spot the foul, automatic, first down.
And Sean Payton, I think, challenged Eli Apple this week. He gave up some coverages last week and the week before. There was one really blown one last week against Dallas that if Dak Prescott would have made a big throw, would have been a better throw, would have been a 55-yard touchdown. He was so far away. So you're going to see him on the line of scrimmage. Sean Payton does not want to see him off. So look at him be in the face of Chris Godwin all day long.
New set of downs for the Bucs. As Winston goes deep, looking for Godwin, overthrows him.
And his coverage was really good. I don't know if he was going to be able to sneak this into Chris Godwin. There's some pressure in the face of Jameis Winston right here. Cam Jordan, of course, another one of these Saints defenders, and really not another one. He is the Saints defender. He's leading the charge. #1 sacks in the league the past 6 or 7 weeks. New Orleans he's been outstanding.
25 sacks for the Saints since week 7. That does lead the league. The Bucs are second.
Sunday. Where we go?
On second and 10, it's Barber. Out across the 35-yard line. Again, it's Demario Davis in on the tackle. So another third down upcoming for the Bucs against this Saints defense. Look at the numbers over the first 3 games and then over the last 9. 31 sacks, 18 takeaways.
Yeah, those 18 takeaways. Obviously, when you're playing with a lot of leads, teams aren't running the football nearly as much. So your structure changes on offense. But to their credit, you have to take advantage of those opportunities, and this defense absolutely has.
Third down and 7 for the Bucs. They must get to the 43 for a first down. Rodgers in the backfield, play clock at 1. Bucs get the snap off in time. Winston throws and losing his helmet, but holding on to the football on the big hit from Marcus Williams was Adam Humphries.
Outstanding concentration here by Adam Humphries. You see him, let's go. This guy has really stepped up his game the past 5 or 6 weeks for Tampa. He catches everything. He's caught 5 touchdowns in the past 4 weeks, and that's a good, clean hit by Marcus Williams. Look, shoulder to the body. That's what the NFL is looking for, but good job by Adam Humphries holding on to that football after that big hit.
Great job, tremendous concentration, and a first down for the Bucs. From midfield, Peyton Barber takes it to the 45-yard line. Alex Anzalone, the tackle, gain of 5, second and 5 coming up. Buccaneers with a touchdown on their opening drive. Their defense forced the New Orleans Saints punt. And now the Bucs on the move once again.
Sunday.
In Saints territory. Barber, down in the backfield. As we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. So Green Bay's first game without Mike McCarthy and Matt Ryan, finding Julio Jones over the middle for this 16-yard score. The Packers did just score, waiting on the extra kick. So right now, Falcons up 7-6.
Thanks, Carissa. First game for Joe Philbin as interim head coach, and what a classy move by Mike McCarthy, taking out a full-page ad in local newspapers this week. Third down and 8.
Big challenge here for this Dennis Allen coach defense. See if they play zone or man here against these Bucs receivers outside.
Bucs must get to the 40. Winston throws, some miscommunication with Humphries over the middle.
And they played, man, this is your coverage right here. P.J. Williams on Adam Humphries, and yet complete miscommunication. Jameis Winston's looking through the seam, and Adam Humphries is breaking that thing off. So good stop on third down for New Orleans. I think it was necessary. If Tampa would have went down and scored there, the Saints offense has struggled the past 2 weeks. You just got to bring it up until they show otherwise. The second least used kicker in sports right here is Brian Anger, both these offenses.
Tommy Lee Lewis is back deep. He signals for the fair catch at the 11-yard line. Trailing by 7, Drew Brees and the Saints offense back on the field when we return. Well, last week against the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday Night Football, Saints held to 176 yards. They averaged over 400 per game, only 10 points. They did not score in the first half against Dallas. On first down, it's Kamara. 2nd and 10 upcoming for the Saints. So fewest total yards, Rondé, under Sean Payton. Brees only 39 yards in the first half and 10 points in the entire game.
Oh, he talked about the physical confrontation with Dallas. Dallas is a good defense. They're playing as one of the better defenses in football. I don't know that Tampa has the same type of personnel to carry out that kind of game plan. But look, Tampa's been playing great. Up front, it started up front. Gerald McCoy, Jason Pierre-Paul, and their secondary, their young, inexperienced secondary, has really paid dividends for this defense this past couple of games.
And how about this play? Made by Carl Nassib on Alvin Kamara.
And that's another guy who has absolutely picked up the slack. And he's going to benefit from, this is Carl Nassib here, he's going to benefit from an offensive lineman taking away the guy that's going to block him. You see Michael Thomas, number 13, trying to come down and crack the defensive end. Well, his offensive lineman, Ramczyk 71, got in the way, and Carl Nassib just took advantage of it and slung Kamara into the backfield. Big play by that Bucs defense.
A loss of 8. You talked about the job this Bucs defense has done over the last couple of weeks under Mark Duffner, who replaced Mike Smith as coordinator back in October. Play clock is at 2. 3rd down and 17. And this play is blown dead. Play clock ran all the way down.
Before the snap, the layup game. Offense, number 9. Half the distance to the goal. Still 3rd down.
Now, you probably don't want to waste a timeout there because the penalty is only going to be about 1.5 yards.
Yeah, it's a marginal penalty, right? You wanted trying to get into the right play. It came in a little late from Sean Payton to Drew Brees. So, yeah, you have no reason to take the timeout there.
Pushes the Saints back to a 3rd down and 19. Brees out of the shotgun in the end zone. Brees throws. He gives the punter Morstead some breathing room as he connects with Keith Kirkwood, the rookie out of Temple. And now the Saints will punt it away for the 2nd time.
Yeah, surprising slow start for the Saints. Again, obviously that first drive, it was the holding penalty on Bushrod that knocked them back, and then the big play by Carl Nassib knocks them back. So, yeah, getting a guy that's punted, what, 20, less than 30 times a year, punting twice already here in the first quarter.
And for the Saints, Rondé, that is only their 17th 3-and-out. Only 10 punts have been returned against New Orleans this season. Humphries backpedaling. Terrific kick by Morstead. An opportunity to return for Humphries. There is a flag as Humphries is finally forced out of bounds at the 47-yard line. 60-yard punt. 22 on the return, and we'll check with referee Jerome Boger.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 30, number 52. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's on Cameron Lynch. Buccaneers football when we return, leading by 7. Time of possession pretty even here in the first quarter, but the Buccaneers have more than doubled up the Saints in total yards. Tampa Bay went 75 yards on their first drive. Start this one from the 25. Winston handing it off. This is Barber. Well, for Jameis Winston, his 6th start, his 3rd in a row since replacing Ryan Fitzpatrick as the starter once again. And over the last 10-plus quarters, he's been terrific. Came in the second half of that game against the Giants, and then back-to-back wins over San Francisco and Carolina.
Yeah, Kenny, look, I've covered Jameis for a long time, since he's been in the league, and I think he's always fought the overconfidence. He's a confident thrower, yes, and he's got the talent to be, but sometimes he had some arm arrogance, as you want to say, trying to put balls in uncomfortable positions, and it's hurt him. He's been better at that of late.
Second down and 9, complete to Adam Humphries for a Bucs first down. For more on Jameis Winston, down to the field, Sarah.
Jameis has been a humbled football player in person over the course of this season. He told us this week that he loves the game so much, but there were times he forgot that this game is always bigger than the individual. And having started the season suspended and then having lost his starting job after he came back, he said it's changed him into someone who has gratitude about every play, and says the Jameis you've seen in the last 2 games is a product of him not complicating things, not trying to be a superhero. That confidence you just mentioned, Rondé.
Thanks, Sarah. He told us I'm working on quicker decisions, keeping things simple. Winston steps up and throws, and the catch is made for a first down out near midfield by the tight end Anthony Auclair for a gain of 13, his 7th reception of the season.
And I think those simple things, as Sarah just mentioned, are the details of the position. Look at him step up in the pocket here, climb with an intention to throw this football to Auclair, who was open right in the middle of the field. And look, Jameis looks good.
Good start for the Bucs. First quarter comes to an end. Tampa Bay on the move, leading New Orleans 7-0. First quarter numbers with the Buccaneers leading the Saints 7-0. Over 100 total yards on offense for Tampa Bay. Saints only 2 first downs. They begin the second quarter, 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Winston from the shotgun, handing it off. Barber across midfield, gain of 2 into Saints territory. A.J. Klein, the tackle. Jameis Winston, now in his 4th season. Of course, served the 3-game suspension at the start of the season. Came in week 4 against the Bears. 3-2 record over his first 5 starts. Big question here in Tampa, will the Bucs bring him back for a 5th season next year? Peyton Barber injured on that last carry, Rondé.
Yeah, he's been dealing with an ankle injury probably the last month and a half of the year, and I've had sprained ankles, and it only takes one little tweak for it to flare up again and aggravate yourself. But I've known that he's been able to deal with it. He'll come back into this football game and be fine. And instead, you got Jacquizz Rodgers and the rookie Ronald Jones. But when you get back to that Jameis conversation, we talked to him on Friday, and I asked him, when did this transformation start, and is it sustainable, Jameis? And I was surprised what he said. He said it was last year, the end of the stretch, after he came back from his shoulder surgery, where he started to feel more comfortable in his situation, being more simple. And I think he got off track trying to chase what Ryan Fitzpatrick did at the beginning of the year.
On 2nd and 8, Jacquizz Rodgers in for Peyton Barber. Picks up a first down to the Saints 40 as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Kurt.
First game without Mike McCarthy on the sidelines. Aaron Rodgers throws his first touchdown pass at the contest. But Devontae Adams caught 12 of them this year, ties him for the league lead. It's all 7s right now with the Falcons and the Packers as they wind down the first quarter. Kenny, Rondé, and Sarah.
Mike 47.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt.
Here we go.
1st and 10, 40-yard line. This is Rodgers once again. This time he gains just 1. Down to the 39 of New Orleans. And Jameis Winston was talking about a 6-game stretch last year. He said, I played my best football. I did not complicate things. And then, of course, the suspension at the start of this season. Ryan Fitzpatrick was unbelievable. Back-to-back 400-yard games in wins over New Orleans and the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. Back-to-back NFC Offensive Player of the Week awards. Fitzpatrick has started 7 games this season for the Bucs. Winston fires. Eli Apple on the coverage.
Listen, great coverage here by Eli Apple. Out here on the line of scrimmage where we think we're going to see him all day. He's just hands in. He wins with his feet at the line of scrimmage. And then because he's so close to the defender, he can reach in and knock that play away. That was a fantastic play. That's the Eli Apple that Sean Payton, Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator, want to see every single snap. He has some lapses, shall we say, over the course of his career. We've seen it here as well in New Orleans.
Former first-round pick of the Giants, started this season in New York, his 6th game with the Saints. 3rd down and 9. As Winston takes off, will pick up a first down. He had a couple of 18-yard runs last week. This time he gained 17 to the Saints' 22-yard line.
Oh, we just talked about Dennis Allen. Look at these guys. Look at how unique this setup is, trying to bring pressure on Jameis Winston, but absolutely perfect pickup. Everybody got a hat on a hat, and then they don't contain the middle of the defense. And Jameis Winston has no problem doing this, as we've seen the last couple of weeks. Take it and run. Don't force a bad throw. Pick up a big first down for Tampa.
He was the Bucs' leading rusher last week against Carolina, and he is so far in this game. 1st and 10 from the 22. Play action. Winston to the end zone. Godwin locked up with Apple. Their feet got tangled up, no flags.
From an offensive coordinator standpoint, you pick up a big first down. Your next play is usually a shot down the field, and this is not any kind of interference. You see both guys looking for the ball, playing the football. Their feet get tangled up as they go to the ground. Again, that's Eli Apple working on Chris Godwin. You can tell already early in this game that that's the matchup that Jameis Winston favors.
Now Mike Evans split out wide to the right, matched up with Marshawn Lattimore. 10th play of the drive for Tampa Bay. On 2nd down, it's Rodgers. 3rd down and 8 upcoming.
You've seen a couple of these zone-type inside runs for New Orleans. They're going nowhere with these 2 big defensive tackles. Sheldon Rankins has been outstanding this year for New Orleans Saints. He's doubled his sack numbers, or I guess he's matched his sack numbers over his first 2 seasons. And this guy, David Onyemata, had a monster game last week against Dallas with those 3 sacks in the first half. They're finding a tough go running right at those 2 big defensive tackles.
So now 3rd down and 8. Bucs must get to the 12 for a first down. Winston in trouble. There is a flag. Winston brought down back at the 29-yard line. Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport.
Holding. Offense, number 76. This penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, they give you that 7-8 guys on the line of scrimmage look again, but they're going to drop out in coverage, and Marcus Davenport just destroys Donovan Smith on the edge right there. And if there's one continual weakness of the Bucs offensive line, it's been Donovan Smith against speed rushes. He just doesn't move his feet sometimes, and he puts his quarterback in harm's way. It's a big sack for this Saints defense to set up this field goal opportunity for Tampa.
Cairo Santos, 46-yard attempt. His season long is 41. From straight away, Brian Anger places it down. And the kick by Santos is no good. Off the right upright. That is his first miss as a Buck. So a big sack by the Saints defense, forcing the Bucs back. They get no points out of it. 2 possessions, 2 punts by the Saints, who were shut out of the first half of their last game against Dallas. From the 36-yard line, Breeze throws on the slant. It is Thomas into Buccaneers territory for a Saints first down, his 3rd catch of this first half, a gain of 18.
And Brent Grimes playing off coverage against Michael Thomas. It's tough. It's hard to get inside of Michael Thomas on any in-breaking route just because he's so big. He has such sure hands. And Drew Brees, right after he delivered that football, he took a big hit.
Mentioned Brent Grimes, he returns. Not play last week against the Panthers. Empty backfield. Kamara was split out wide to the right, now in the slot from the Bucs 47. Breeze complete to the tight end, Benjamin Watson, for another New Orleans first down, a gain of 11.
You see all these motions, Kenny, right? The jet motion by Traquan. And you see Alvin Kamara move inside. All of that is in an effort to identify what the Bucs are doing on defense. And really, these two guys, Sean Payton and Drew Brees, they're football geniuses, right? They know they're trying to find a matchup and exploit one of these young guys on the back end of this Bucs secondary.
Shot. Like 5-4 left. 5-4 left.
And they've been doing this together for 13 years. Thomas takes a big hit from Jordan Whitehead.
Well, they're going to play a lot of zone defense, the Bucs are, and this is Mike Thomas and Jordan Whitehead, number 31. If there's a more physical guy on this Bucs team, I don't know who it is. He's not the biggest guy, he's a rookie, but he absolutely will hit you, and he throws his body around there into Michael Thomas. Another good catch by a receiver after taking a big hit. We saw Adam Humphries hold on to one earlier.
That's his 20th reception against Tampa Bay this season in 5.5 quarters. Second down and 4. Brees throws in the vicinity of Thomas. That time incomplete. Maybe an Elliott defending to Los Angeles. Kurt.
Over the previous 6 games, no one has more yards from scrimmage nor touchdowns than Christian McCaffrey. And he proves he can run between the tackles right there again. He's got 2. And Carolina's up by a score in Cleveland. Kenny, Rondé, and Sarah.
Thanks, Kurt. That's a big game for Carolina. 4-game losing streak. Their playoff dreams and hopes are evaporating right in front of their eyes.
Timeout.
Saints call timeout.
They're first.
We'll return after this message from State Farm. Should be a good one on Thursday. Here in Tampa, Buccaneers lead the Saints 7-0. Saints can clinch the division with a win or a Carolina loss in Cleveland. Third down and 4 for the Saints from the Buccaneers 30. Brees on third down, throws, it's Thomas, has a first down. Inside the 20, down to the 19-yard line, his 5th reception. And the new set of downs for the New Orleans Saints.
Well, how does Michael Thomas get this wide open? They're trying to, you're going to see a safety come down, trying to take him on a cross, and he just gets caught up in traffic. His own guys hit him, and Mike Thomas is wide open. Big third down completion there for New Orleans. And if you're going to play man-to-man with all these bunch routes, bunch formations, it's tough for those defenders to try to run through that traffic.
From the 19 of the Buccaneers, this is Ingram. Mason Pierre-Paul with the initial contact, and then Ryan Smith the tackle.
Well, I think Kevin Minter is the one that ran right through the middle of the deep. See right there. Watch him run through this gap, and it opens up. JPP dominates the tight end because he should. The defensive ends on tight end should be a win every single time. It's a tough job for any tight end, especially against a guy as strong, as powerful as Jason Pierre-Paul.
Loss of 1 on the play. Second down and 11. From the 20-yard line of the Bucs. Brees complete. Second catch for Kirkwood. He takes it down to the 12-yard line of Tampa Bay.
And Drew Brees' efficiency numbers are off the charts this year, right? Completing almost 75 or over 75% of his passes. And it's really kind of indicative of what's going on in this game. Not a lot of balls move down the football field. He's want to take the underneath passes and find the easy completions and put himself in these situations. He's third in very manageable short opportunities on offense, and this is where they thrive. I think they get into that bunch formation again, try to identify what the Bucs are doing, and get a one-on-one matchup they know they can win.
He's 9 for 12 today, 75%.
Great mathematician that you are, Kenny.
We don't need a calculator for that one. Third down and 3. Brees looking for Thomas. So now the Saints will send out the field goal unit.
Good coverage down here on Michael Thomas. It's cover 2. Corner in the flat, safety over the top. That's cover 2. And Michael Thomas, I don't know if he's trying to draw a flag here. He falls on his own volition. The dramatic fall. He stays on his feet. He gives himself a chance to get to that football. And you can see the frustration right there, Kenny, on the face of Drew Brees. Knew he had an opportunity with Brent Grimes covering his big wide receiver.
Saints unable to reach the end zone once again. 30-yard attempt. Will Lutz who has now hit 22 consecutive field goal attempts. So more frustration for the Saints here in the first half in Tampa. Rough game offensively for the Saints 10 days ago in Dallas, and more of the same here today in Tampa.
They said it, those 10 days, you'd think they'd come out a little bit more on fire, and give some credit, of course, to Mark Duffner and his Bucs defense today, but those negative 4 yards rushing is shocking. This Saints football team on offense, when they're on all cylinders, it's because they're running the football well and just not able to do that so far today.
Bobo Wilson on the return for Tampa Bay. Cuts to the outside. And is shoved out of bounds by Marcus Williams. So Winston and the Bucs offense back out onto the field. Well, twin brothers defend their titles in a huge night of championship fights on Fox. Jamal Charlo takes on Willie Monroe Jr., while Jamel Charlo defends his belt against Tony Harrison. PBC, December 22nd. Only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Rhonda, you can relate to twin brothers. They actually held a coin flip to see who would take part in the main event.
Who would be the main event. I love that only one letter in their name is different. It's fantastic.
Ready!
Not to confuse anyone.
Unlike the Barber twins, and speaking of Barbers, Peyton Barber returns to the backfield for the Bucs, injured earlier. Takes it up the middle and is met by Tyler Davison.
It's an important drive here, I think, Kenny, for the Bucs. Saints get the ball at halftime. From a situational standpoint, you're the head coach, you're the offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. I think you want to be able to milk as much clock as you can here, keep this drive going. But we've seen all day today, the Bucs come to the line of scrimmage. It's not necessarily hurry up, but they're calling plays from the line of scrimmage. Jameis Winston.
Second down and 8. Winston with time. That time, Humphrey's unable to hang on to it.
It's a tough catch for Adam Humphries to try to climb this ladder here. Coverage is good by P.J. Williams, really good by P.J. Williams. We've seen Adam Humphries come down with some spectacular catches this year, but not able to get up for that one.
So now the Buccaneers facing a third down and 8. There's Dennis Allen, the Saints defensive coordinator.
I think he's been fantastic calling defenses this year. Obviously, week 1 was somewhat of an anomaly for them. As this season's gone on, they've continued to get better and really kept themselves in games.
Bucs get to the 33. Winston throws, and it's caught and then dropped by Godwin. Question is, will it be ruled a completion and a fumble? Looks like that is the initial indication.
I'm pretty sure that he held on to this long enough. I don't know what you're going to be able to constitute the football move. That's Godwin, number 12, coming all the way across, and Jameis buys a lot of time. That's close, man. That's bang, bang, right? That's what they're going to say. And New Orleans would have to challenge this to rule this incomplete.
Made the catch and then quickly turned upfield, took the hit, lost the football, recovered by Cameron Brate. And now 2 penalty flags, false start.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Left tackle Donovan Smith.
Or look at this, Kenny. Godwin catches this, and possession, yes. Got to say that's a football move right there, turning up the football field. I think it's right. I think it's smart by Sean Payton not to waste that challenge at this point.
First down and 15 as that pass is broken up. Headed for Brate.
P.J. Williams, just, you know, he wasn't the original nickelback for this team. We got a flag here. Hold on a second.
Holding. Offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's on the center, Ryan Jensen.
But P.J. Williams wasn't the original nickelback here. He had a bunch of injuries in the secondary. He had to step up. I think he's played really, really well in there. His name doesn't get mentioned a lot. Everybody talks about Marshawn Lattimore. Both safeties are really good on this football team. But he's the most crucial guy on defense because these nickelbacks have to be able to cover up these developing slot players, and Adam Humphries is a tough matchup for him today.
P.J. Williams, teammate of Jameis Winston at Florida State. First down and 25, and that pass gets broken up by Sheldon Rankins.
Yeah, good call here by Dennis Allen. He said, you know what, we're just going to play coverage, and as a matter of fact, we're going to drop another big guy in coverage. And, you know, he's a rare athlete, though, Sheldon Rankins in. He moves great in space, even when he's rushing players, and I like it. He's got a future at linebacker, maybe, with 200 pounds off of him.
Has a career-high 7 sacks this season. First-round pick out of Louisville back in 2016. Having his best year. Second down and 25. Winston steps up, moving to his right, can't find anyone, and will be tackled at the 34-yard line by Anzalone. So a 3rd and long coming up for the Bucs. 5 minutes remaining. Second quarter. Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Sarah Walsh from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Bucs scored a touchdown on their opening drive, and they've held the Saints out of the end zone.
3rd and 19. You just don't want to make any mistakes if you're Tampa. Obviously, the Saints are going to play very loose. 7 guys deep.
Catch is made by Bobo Wilson, and he will be tackled by Alex Okafor. And now a flag at the end of the play. Some extracurricular activity involving Ryan Jensen and Anzalone.
Ryan Jensen, we know he likes to mix it up late. I didn't see much of a foul. Yes, he was out front. He was out front of the screen, trying to get out in front of this screen. I mean, they may be discussing to pick him up. This is Jensen right here. Just watch him work out late to get to the scene. See if this ball's still alive. I mean, yes, he's downfield. They call him blocking the back, I guess that could be.
At the end of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 66, 15-yard penalty, the down counts, 4th down.
So that will cost the Buccaneers 15 yards.
Incredulous look.
So 3 penalties on that drive committed by the Tampa Bay offensive line. And now another flag prior to the punt.
False start. Offense, number 41. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Wow. Jameis Winston not happy with Ryan Jensen.
Obviously wasn't happy with this center. You know, you don't need those type of penalties, and it's hard to blame Ryan Jensen. It looked like the play was still going on when he made contact with the end zone. It didn't seem that egregious of a penalty, but you can't deal with it at this point. It gives the Saints very favorable field position here after this punt.
4 penalties on the drive. Fair catch at the 35-yard line by Tommy Lee Lewis.
Now here's George Warhop, the offensive line coach, getting in Ryan and Jameis's face here, just trying to settle down the situation. I mean, that was pretty heated exchange for a center quarterback to be going through. And look, I've watched enough film to know that Ryan Jensen is playing to and through the whistle. So the Bucs know that. They just can't let that be an issue for them on offense.
So now with 4:18 remaining in the second quarter, Saints start from their 34. Now a couple more flags are thrown.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 50. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
So this is Vita Vea. So Buccaneers have been flagged 5 times now, Rondé, in the last 6 plays. 3 penalties committed by offensive linemen, then 1 on the punt, and now a flag thrown to their defense.
Ready? You're ready? What's up?
First down and 5 following the penalty. Breeze with loads of time, couldn't find anyone downfield, so he dumps it off to his tight end Watson, who takes it out close to a first down.
There's not a better quarterback, Kenny, than Drew Brees at finding his outlet. The guy at the last guy. He's looking for Michael Thomas on an inside breaking route. The coverage is really good down the field, but look, he knows right away where his check down is. Not a lot of young quarterbacks do this well, but Drew Brees does it better than anybody I've ever seen.
And he's not a young quarterback.
No, he's definitely not young.
Now it's Zach Lyon, the fullback, after the 9-yard reception by Watson. Only the 4th carry of the season. It was a 4-yard reception because it was first down at 5. And then Zach Lyon picks up a first down.
The not often used runner, Zach Lyon. But you need a yard. Why not give us a fullback?
How about that? Rushing yards in the game.
Yeah, and Zach Lyon's your leading rusher right now with 4 yards on that carry.
2 for Ingram, -6 for Kamara. From the 47, this is Kamara across midfield, and then at the end of the play, lost the football, but he was ruled down.
The rule on the field is that the runner was down by contact. Second down.
Well, Levante David rips through the block of Max Unger, and just watch him rip at this football. It's coming loose right there, but I think his knees are close to being down. Yeah, it's right there. The knee is down before that ball comes out. And unlike before, I think you should challenge this if you're Dirk Cutter. Why not? You only got 2 minutes left in the half, 2.5 minutes left.
And you can't challenge once we hit 2 minutes.
Absolutely. I'm sure he's thinking this is not going to be overturned, but it's close.
It's challenging the rule on the field that the runner was down by contact.
Look at his right knee, I think, Kenny. You're not going to be able to see it right there, and we got to get a corresponding spot with the ball. His knee is definitely down there, and it's tough. It just, are we going to have enough evidence? And
well, he was ruled down by contact on the field. That was the initial call. We welcome in Dean Blandino from Los Angeles. Dean, how do you see it?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm looking for the body part that touches first, which looks like the right knee, and then you have to find the football. And I really can't see both in the same shot. You try to piece it together, but to me, they ruled down. I don't see enough to change this. It's a good challenge, worth a shot, but I think this is going to stand.
So Jerome Boger taking a look at it. Dean talking about the fact that it's just so tough to see.
Yeah, I keep looking at these replays, and even if it is a fumble, it's just not. I don't think there's nearly enough information for the officials in New York to be able to overturn this. And even when Levante was ripping at that thing, Kamara still had a pretty good hold on it. I think it's going to stand.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field is confirmed. The runner was down by contact. Tampa Bay is charged his first time out of the half.
All right, so Dirk Cutter loses the challenge. The call on the field confirmed. We thank Dean Blandino. And the Buccaneers lose a timeout. I know you were happy, Rondé, that it was not recovered by Levante David and that the play was not reversed, because you and Levante are tied for the franchise record with 12 fumble recoveries.
Yeah, we were joking about that with Levante. He's going to point up to the booth when he finally gets one.
2nd and 6.
May not be today, though.
Breeze tries to set up the screen, and it is picked off. Breeze pass is picked off by Adarius Taylor.
Such a good job by Adarius Taylor. look, when you have a screen team as good as New Orleans, I said early, it challenges your eyes because you're going to want to look this way. This is a Darius Taylor, but watch Drew Brees look this way, give the fake, but he's coming back this way all along. And whenever a running back is on one side of a quarterback and he goes to the other side without really trying to block, it's a screen. And Darius Taylor does a great job reading that. And then the catch, and this Bucs defense is thriving off turnovers the past 3 weeks. How many interceptions is that 3 weeks now?
That's 7.
7, right?
7 in the last 7 quarters. Only the 4th time Brees has been picked off all season. So now Winston of the Bucs from the New Orleans 49. Catch is made by Barber, and then a flag as he took a big hit from Davis.
Well, this is the helmet rule 100% right here. That is exactly what the NFL does not want. Initiating contact with the helmet. And look, I'm a defender, right? I know how hard this is. A lot of times you don't come in with the intention.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 56. Contact on a defensive player. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Well, they're saying defenseless player, but it's really the same foul, right? This could have been the helmet deal. You're protected receiver to contact to the head and neck area, and that's exactly where Demario Davis. And to finish my thought there, look, you're coming to the tackle with the intention of making the hit, but in today's NFL, you absolutely cannot take lead with your head. They're going to call the foul.
We approach the 2-minute warning. Huge turn of events late in the second quarter. The failed challenge by Dirk Cutter, but then the interception on the next play. First of his career by Darius Taylor. So the Buccaneers on the move. 2-minute warning, leading the Saints 7-3. There's a Darius Taylor celebrating following his first career interception. 4 seasons in the NFL. Sean Payton not happy about it.
I think that picture shows the feeling on that Saints sideline. Really, the last 6 quarters haven't really been able to get anything going on that side of the football, and the Bucs going to try to take advantage of that here. And the one thing the Saints used to love to do was score before half, before they're getting the ball back, and now the Bucs have a chance to counter that.
First and 10, 22-yard line. Catch is made by Jaquiz Rodgers. Gains a couple down to the 18-yard line, and the Saints will use a timeout. Stop the clock with 1:48 remaining, which gives us an opportunity to check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Kurt.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Chiefs look to clinch a playoff berth as they host the Ravens. The Colts battle the Texans down in Houston, and the Patriots try to wrap up the AFC East title against the Dolphins. Be sure to join us. You never know who's going to drop on by.
Looks like Kurt has a visitor.
Kurt's a midget in that screen.
So we look forward to the Visa halftime report. Kurt and the gang here in Tampa. 7-3 lead for the Buccaneers. 1:52 remaining.
Well, Sean Payton's intentions are clear. They want to get a stop here or leave enough time for them to get the ball back. So again, they can try to get one quick score before they get the ball after the half.
Second down and 5. Winston over the middle. It's Humphreys, and he picks up a Tampa Bay Bucs first down.
Well, he almost danced back when took away the first down that he had gained. But the Saints are going to be comfortable giving them this room here. Jameis Winston, easy throw. It's deep zone coverage. There are 5 guys behind where the ball was completed. Easy first down, and Saints, surprisingly, there don't take another timeout. They're letting the clock run.
They only have 1 remaining. First and goal from the Saints 10. Winston in trouble, spins away, and now he dumps it off. And it is taken all the way down inside the 1 by Adam Humphreys.
Oh, man, what a play by Jameis Winston. Wow. First things first, this is going to be a sack by David Onyemata, but he stiff arms him. Get out of my way, man. And then starts to scramble and keeps his eyes downfield and makes an unbelievably athletic throw there to Adam Humphrey. That was a special, special play by Jameis Winston. And he is definitely short of that goal line. But man, that's a highlight reel snap for J-Dub and Adam Humphries.
Humphries' 4th reception of this first half.
Number 61 is an eligible receiver.
61 is Leonard Wester, eligible on this second down play as the Saints continue to shuffle in defensive personnel.
Triple!
Alan Cross in as the fullback, setting up in front of Peyton Barber. It's Barber on 2nd and goal, over the top, and he's ruled short. So it will be 3rd and goal for Tampa Bay.
Just watch the contact there. Just short. Yeah, I don't think that ball crosses that line. It's always dangerous. We saw it last week with these Bucs. You get a running back, don't want to extend that football, right? Because he lost it last week on a goal-scoring opportunity trying to reach over the goal line. This week he just tries to get his entire body over that line. Is not able to do it. Good stop there by the Saints defensive front.
Bucs use a timeout. 29 seconds remaining in the second quarter. 3rd and goal from inside the 1 for Tampa Bay. Wester, 61, remains on the field. He's eligible. Cross is the fullback.
I'd line up in that same formation and try to get your quarterback on the edge. Maybe a boot or a sub pass to one of these tight ends.
2 tight ends plus the extra blocker. Winston, end zone, touchdown. 2nd of the first half for Cam Brate.
Jameis is very slow getting off the turf here. He took a big hit, Kenny.
And who's the first one over to check on him? Ryan Jensen.
And it actually was his own offensive lineman that fell into his legs. Just watch the play action fake and then the push. It's DeMar Dotson rolling up on the knee of Jameis Winston, and he was down on the field for a long time there, Kenny. But of course, it's Cam Brate. There's no better red zone target on this football team than big number 84, and Jameis Winston is definitely looking for him down here. We'll just have to keep an eye on this knee of Jameis Winston. That did not look very good when he went down.
He's standing on the sidelines. Carlos Santos has the extra point. So the Bucs capitalize on the Breeze interception. After Dirk Cutter lost a challenge on the next play, Saints set up the screen and it's picked off by Darius Taylor to give the Bucs the ball back. And then how about this play from Winston finding Adam Humphries. A couple of plays later, Winston to Brate.
Well, how about the turn of events right there, Kenny? Saints looking to go in for a score before the half and then get the football back at the second. How big was that takeaway? It's this Bucs team just continues to impress week after week here. This is 3rd week in a row. We've had these guys, and every single week we've seen an improved Jameis Winston. His ability to get out of the pocket, create second reaction type plays, scramble plays, has been huge for this team, and it is again today. And then when you look at the other side of the ball, Kenny, the Saints offense continues to struggle for 6 quarters now. They haven't been able to get going.
And if they do not score a touchdown over the next 26 seconds, it'll be 2 consecutive first halves for the Saints without reaching the end zone. Kamara takes it out. Alvin Kamara to the 25-yard line. There's Jameis Winston. Heading off to the Bucs locker room with 20 seconds on the clock. Saints with no timeouts. First half against Dallas last week, they were shut out. Scored 10 second half points. So look at Breeze numbers today. That interception, the first time he has been picked off outdoors since last October. Rain starting to fall once again here in Tampa with the Buccaneers leading the Saints 14-3 at the half. New Orleans will get the ball first in the third quarter. The play of the first half is presented by DirecTV. More for your thing, that's our thing. Jameis Winston, Cameron Brate, that was on the Buccaneers' first possession, and they would do it again late in the second quarter. 2 touchdowns for tight end from Harvard, Cameron Brate, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, looking for their 3rd consecutive victory, hold the New Orleans Saints, who are averaging just under 35 points per game, to just 3 in the first half here in New Orleans. 48-40 Bucs, the first time these teams met back in September. It's a 14-3 lead for Tampa Bay here today. We saw Jameis Winston head off early to the Bucs locker room. Here's what happened after he threw the touchdown pass to Brate moments ago.
Yeah, and this it's a scary looking injury if you're the Bucs, because it's your plant leg. And again, I can never speculate on injuries on the field. I just wouldn't do that. But because he stayed on the field, laying down on the field for so long, you got to feel like it's somewhat significant. But he's played so well, Kenny, the past 3 weeks. You just hate for it to be anything significant. So he goes in a little bit early to take a look at him. The good thing was that he was standing on the sideline, and he doesn't seem to be walking unencumbered right there. But you just never know.
So Jameis Winston on the Bucs with a 14-3 lead over the New Orleans Saints, who can clinch the division with a victory or a Carolina loss today.
You got to give some credit here in this first half to this Bucs defense. They've continued to show up under Mark Duffner, the new defensive coordinator here. And look, they're taking the ball away. They're winning on 3rd down. The Saints have only converted 2 so far today. And look, the Bucs don't want to hear about being spoiler. But whether they believe they are or not, that's what they're playing now. They play Dallas in 2 weeks. They got the Saints now. Those are 2 teams that they're looking like playoff teams. So they get an opportunity to put a little dent in those seasons for those 2 teams.
Well, Sean Payton gave his team a history lesson this week. Saints still aiming for the 1 or 2 seed. Carolina tied with Cleveland at 17. Bucs lead here in Tampa. Time now for the Visa halftime report. Winston looking for Brate. He makes the catch for a touchdown. Breeze tries to set up the screen, and it is picked off. Breeze's pass is picked off by Adarius Taylor. Winston, end zone, touchdown. Second of the first. Today's game flow brought to you by Progressive. 2 touchdown passes from Winston to Brate. The second set up by the Adarius Taylor interception. Buccaneers lead the Saints 14-3. Short kickoff taken at the 5 by Kamara. Alvin Kamara across the 20, the 25, and down at the 27-yard line. So the big question, Ronde, I'm sure that many of our viewers have, is what's going on with the New Orleans Saints offense? Second straight week, no touchdowns in the first half, only 1 over the last 6 quarters.
I think the lack of rushing attempts and yards speaks volumes for this Saints offense right now. When they run the football, it opens up everything in this offense. There's not a lot of weapons here, right? You got Alvin Kamara, you have Michael Thomas, and you got a bunch of young guys that are going to need to step up if this offense is going to get going here, Kenny.
Saints starting from their 26-yard line. Breeze throws. There's Thomas. He had 5 catches in the first half. Out to the 30. Gain of 4 for Michael Thomas. As we check out the first half numbers, pedestrian once again for the New Orleans Saints.
And just look at those rush yards. That's bad for this football team, because they have 2 really good runners who are tough to deal with. And I know Tampa came into this game knowing that they had to stop those 2 guys. They have been a non-factor so far.
Empty backfield on 2nd down and 6. As Breeze is hit, the ball came loose. And it is recovered by Tampa Bay.
I'm going to tell you what, Kenny. Jason Pierre-Paul is really good at football. Hey, This guy is amazing. Right here at the end of the line of scrimmage, Bushrod's actually doing a pretty good job holding up on this rush here. But watch these go-go gadget arms. Bam, ball. Actually, that's Carl Nassib from the other side. I thought it was JPP that popped it off. Let's watch Carl Nassib doing the same thing, pushing through and being ball aware. That's what this defense has done so well here of late. Create turnovers, and it's JPP with the recovery. Those two defensive ends, Kenny, have been spectacular this season so far.
That's 2 turnovers by the Saints offense over the last 4 plays. So the Buccaneers with excellent field position. Barber to the 22, down to the field. Sarah.
Sean Payton's obviously frustrated. He said, we're just playing poor offensively. I said, what do you have to do to get this going? He said, the #1 thing is eliminate minus plays. As for the Bucs side of things, I asked Dirk Cutter, how are you containing the Saints offense? He said it all starts with the guys up front, those front 4, and you saw what they just did. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Sarah. Buccaneers looking to capitalize on a Saints turnover for the 2nd time. On the delay, it's Barber, and he's tackled by Okafor at the 22-yard line.
And when was the last time we saw a Saints offense give the ball away like this? And again, credit to this Bucs defense, but the coverage downfield was not there, and Drew didn't have an answer. That's one of the few times that I've seen Drew Brees drop back and not have an answer with the football when his first reads are gone. But the only guy that's been a threat on that side of the ball has been Michael Thomas today. He's got 6 catches. Nobody else has really been involved over there.
We're down at 5. Winston was under pressure, and the Bucs will now be held to a field goal attempt after the New Orleans turnover.
Watch Cam Jordan working on DeMar Dotson right here. This is almost a takedown, you would say, but he's the reason Jameis threw a bad pass there. He had a wide open guy to the flat, but he gets his arm just before the delivery, causes that incompletion.
That's a big stop by the Saints defense, keeping the Bucs out of the end zone.
Huge stop. We used to call these sudden change opportunities. Good defenses find a way to hold, especially when you're backed up, to hold it to a field goal attempt. So yes, Ken, you're right. That was a fantastic stop by this defense. They needed it.
And good to see Winston back on the field from a Tampa Bay standpoint. The field goal attempt is no good.
And even more important, the field goal attempt, not a go.
That's the 2nd miss by Santos today after Brees had it knocked away. The Buccaneers come away with nothing. Well, there's Cairo Santos, who had not missed a field goal or extra point attempt as a Buc since replacing Chandler Catanzaro, who, by the way, is kicking for the Carolina Panthers today for the injured Graham Gano. So 2 missed field goals. It remains a 14-3 game. On the toss, it's Mark Ingram. And Ingram gains a couple on first down out to the 32-yard line.
Well, Vita Vea made some nice play there, and he's really started to gain his footing here on this defensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Asked Gerald McCoy, he said it was around that Washington game where things started to come into clear focus for him as a defensive lineman. And what he adds is that initial push. He's not going to be a great pass rusher, but one-on-one blocks, he should win every single time with the strength and power that he possesses.
Bucs first-round pick, rookie out of Washington. Aside from the kneel down at the end of the half, Saints have turned it over on their last 2 possessions. Brees' pass is caught by Kamara, but he is met by Brent Grimes along with Levante David, stopped a yard shy of the marker.
Well, I know Levante David is laboring a little bit with his knee injury. You see him right there in the corner of your screen, number 54. This is a hard tackle in space. Alvin Kamara, he's got a vice on the outside because Brent Grimes is out there. That's a very nice tackle by Levante. And when he came back last week, he had an immediate effect to this defense. He missed a couple of games with that knee injury. I think he's one of the best outside linebackers in football still. Been doing it for a long time here in Tampa.
Saints send in an extra blocker, 65, Michael Ola. 3rd down and 1. It is Ingram, and he will not get there. Vinny Curry makes the play.
How about that immediate penetration by Vinny Curry? That is fantastic play. And it's Bushrod again who's lined up over him. This is Vinny Curry. He just sneaks right past him. He's quicker off the ball and has better intentions. And he gets Mark Ingram on the ground before he could even get his legs going, and this running offense of the Saints has been miserable today, Kenny. Great play, though, by Tampa Bay's defense.
5 rush yards for the Saints today. Morstead punting for the 3rd time. That's above his average of number of punts per game this season. Fair catch is made by Adam Humphries after the big play on 3rd down made by the longtime Philadelphia Eagle, Vinnie Curry. Look at the quarterback comparison. The big difference, Rondé. Winston, 2 touchdowns. Breeze, 2 turnovers.
Yeah, it hasn't exactly been the offensive explosion I think some people were expecting here today, but Tampa's been good. They possess the football, converted 3rd downs.
Bucs start from the 13-yard line. Winston can't find anyone downfield. Stays on his feet. And will be tackled at the 16. So he gains 3 yards on the play.
I think that knee injury is not a concern for Jameis Winston. He's moving pretty good here. And this is ability, this is escapability. I hate that word, but a lot of people use it. It really describes what Jameis Winston's been the past couple of weeks. Being able to avoid sacks and negative plays is a huge positive for this Bucs offense.
Caleb Benenoch helping Winston readjust his helmet. 2nd down and 7. From the 16-yard line, Winston throws. There is a flag. Diving attempt was made by Cameron Brate. Pass incomplete.
Holding. Defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
Yeah, just working on Cam Brate. Here's 2 guys in question, and it's that little juke move, and you see the stretch of the jersey. Easy call for that official to make. Cameron Brate's been the focus, really, a lot of this offense since O.J. Howard went out with his ankle injury earlier, about 3 weeks ago, and we know he's effective in the red zone, but he can also be a guy in the field.
Winston with time, and that pass is out of the reach of Chris Godwin as we head to Los Angeles. Game break, Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Packers up 20-7 against the Falcons. Opening drive of the 2nd half. Aaron Rodgers connects with Randall Cobb. Aaron Rodgers now has 359 pass attempts without an interception. I didn't jinx him if he throws one. Packers up 27-7.
How about that response after firing Mike McCarthy? Aaron Rodgers having his best day.
Joe Philbin, now the interim head coach. Peyton Barber out to the 27-yard line. 3rd down and 4 upcoming for the Bucs, who lead the Saints 14-3. Talked about the tight ends. Brate with 2 touchdowns today, now has 5 on the season. The injured O.J. Howard with 5, so that's 10 touchdown passes for the Bucs to the tight ends this year. Winston moves to his right, looking for the change, and he has a 1st down as he escaped the tackle attempt by Davis.
Yeah, this is a very important broken tackle by Jameis Winston in the flat. And again, we continue to see this evolution of Jameis Winston, and it looks sustainable. He's not taking unnecessary risks with the ball. He says, I could do this myself. That's a tough tackle for Demario Davis, running the big legs of Jameis Winston. But
Winston now has 47 yards on the ground today. He was the Bucs' leading rusher last week with 48 rushing yards. 2 set of downs for Tampa Bay. Up the middle, it's Barber. There is a flag after Barber gained 2.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
That's Donovan Smith again. 3rd time he's been flagged today.
there he is, hooking on Yamada. You know, you get those moshes of big bodies down there. It's sometimes hard to see those type of holds, but Whenever a guy goes to the ground and arms around him, the officials are inclined to throw that flag.
First down and 20 following the penalty. Winston's pass is caught by Mike Evans. It's only his second catch today and a big one on the Bucs' first drive. He's slow to get up after that 17-yard reception.
Oh, Mike's been on and off the sideline all day today, right, Ken? We've seen him out of this game more than we've seen in the game. He hasn't had a lot of service with the football, and that was a nice throw by Jameis Winston. He got a little bit of play action, pull up those underneath defenders, and he dumped it right over the top.
Now, Evans wanted to stay on the field, but the officials sending him off to the sideline.
Yeah, Evans is trying to go back, and you see the official calling his timeout and sending got to come out of the game for the one play. They deemed him being injured. He's down on the field, and Justin Watson comes into the football game.
Watson, the rookie out of Penn. Second down and 3, play action. Winston rolling right, and then he throws back across the field. Looked like Godwin made the catch and then lost it. It's ruled an incomplete pass. 3rd and 3 coming up for the Bucs.
That was a dangerous pass by Jameis, throwing back across your body. Play action setup, boot. You're obviously looking for somebody in the flat. Cameron Brayton, who's well covered there by A.J. Klein. He brings his eyes back inside and tries to get Godwin there, but looked like he's going to be able to hold that possession, but he dropped it as he got towards the ground. Did not finish the catch.
Bucs now facing a 3rd down and 3. Winston with time. And this pass sails incomplete, looking for Godwin again. Flag is thrown. And this one's against the Bucs.
Holding, offense, number 32. This penalty is declined. 4th down.
So now the Bucs will send out the punting unit. Jaquiz Rogers was flagged on the play. Penalty is declined, and Tommy Lee Lewis drops back deep for New Orleans.
Well, the Saints defense has done their job today, Kenny. Yes, they've given up some two scores, but one of them was off the turnover of the offense. The offense has got to wake up. They got to be able to respond. Everybody knows what's on the line on that sideline. We'll continue to harp on this the rest of the day. They need a first-round bye. It's what Sean Payton emphasized to us. It's not going to happen if this offense doesn't get going.
The punt is blocked and is recovered at the 29-yard line. Taysom Hill coming up with a huge play for the Saints on special teams.
Well, there's one way to generate some offense. Do it on special teams, and we haven't talked about Taysom Hill much today. He's the Swiss Army knife, so to speak, of this entire team. He's just going to come from the left side. He's out here on the edge, and that up and under move confuses the blocking scheme of the Bucs special teams, and what a fantastic play. His kid does everything, and he does everything pretty well.
He's listed on the depth chart as the 3rd-string quarterback, but you're right, Rondé. He does it all for the New Orleans Saints. And he sets up a 1st and 10 in Buccaneers territory at the Tampa Bay 30. The handoff to Mark Ingram. Ingram stays on his feet, still going, has a 1st down. That's the best run of the day by far for the Saints. Their previous long run was 4 yards. Ingram gains 11.
Yeah, just a little split zone play, right? So you'll see zone blocking go one way. You'll see a wide receiver pull back the other way and give a running lane for Mark Ingram and finally get something going in that side of the football in the running game.
They average 127 yards on the ground, including that 11-yard pickup by Ingram. They have 17 today. They give it right back to Mark Ingram, and he pulls his way up the middle down to the Bucs' 15-yard line. So when you look at what's gone on since the latter stages of the 2nd quarter, Saints have turned it over twice, but the Buccaneers missed a field goal for the 2nd time, and now a block punt gives New Orleans the momentum.
Well, I think it's important for New Orleans to build on the energy that special teams play of Taysom Hill gave you. Again, we talked earlier about sudden change, right? The defense having to step up and win an unfavorable situation. Well, it goes the same on offense. You get that positive play on special teams. This offense has got to respond with a score here.
Second down and 6 from the Bucs. 15 as Brees swings it out. Kamara stumbling as he made the catch. Kamara able to make the catch for a Saints first down.
It's a great catch by Alvin Kamara. It's not a great throw. It's behind him, but this kid can do anything. Nothing surprises me with what he's able to do. He's as good a receiver. He is a runner. He's smooth and explosive at the same time. He's unique. He has not been that involved today, and his offense gets rolling. It's usually because of him.
First and goal for Drew Brees and the Saints from the 8-yard line. Kamara in the backfield, bunch formation to the left. Now Thomas in motion to the right. On the toss, it's Kamara inside the 5. He is knocked out of bounds as he tried to dive for the pylon by Adarius Taylor.
Just a good design here. Just a little dive option. We'll fake the reverse, pitch it out to your best runner. Man, that's a pretty picture. Almost got to the end zone. Really good job by Adarius Taylor hustling out that play. Kamara, to me, looked like he was going to walk into the end zone there.
Now big personnel on the field for the Saints. Extra blocker, 65, Ola. They send in tight end Josh Hill. Fullback, Zach Line. Set up in front of Mark Ingram. Second and goal on the fake to Ingram. Brees throws. Touchdown. Zach Line, the fullback, with his second TD catch of the season. And the Saints finally reach the end zone.
Well, they did it on the back of the running game. Mark Ingram with the big run. Alvin Kamara
following the block punt by Taysom Hill, who had a big smile on his face.
You're going to get Zach Line come out on the other side here, and Drew Brees does a good job buying just a little bit of time and dumping it off to his fullback for the touchdown. That's the way this Saints offense has looked the entire year. And King, how about this? We're going for 2.
Looking to pull to within a field goal. And Drew Brees wondering why the play clock was not bumped back up by Jerome Boger.
Timeout New Orleans. They're
New Orleans using a timeout.
Timeout.
Brees had an issue with the play clock. So the Saints will go for 2. They are 3 for 4 this season on 2-point attempts. Now a 5-point game following the block punt and the New Orleans touchdown, capitalizing on the short field.
It's interesting there that with the play clock, there wasn't a big celebration by the Saints there. It turned back or turned over really quick, I thought. Not that he was going to win that argument. You know, officials are not going to go back and say put more time on the clock for no reason, but that was interesting.
All right, here we go. 2-point conversion attempt as Brees steps up to the line. Austin Carr in motion, the toss to Kamara. He turns the corner and he is in. 2-point conversion successful. The New Orleans Saints make this a 3-point game. First, the block punt by Taysom Hill turns into 8 points for the Saints. Drew Brees and the Saints have pulled to within 3 under 5 minutes remaining, third quarter here in Tampa following the block punt. By the way, the last time Brian Anger of the Bucs had a punt block last November in a game against the Saints, and Justin Hardy returned it for a touchdown last November. Saints capitalize again following the block punt here today. Bucs will start at their 25 this January on Fox. Don't miss the new singing competition where Grammy winners, Emmy winners, and Hall of Famers perform in disguise. Can you figure out who's behind the mask? Is it you, Rondé? Is it your brother Tiki? Well, Nick Cannon hosts The Masked Singer, premiering January 2nd on Fox. I've heard both you guys sing.
Yeah. There's some Mass fans here. I'm not going to sing like those guys, that's for sure.
Think he might.
That'll be entertaining.
How about the catch made by your nephew in a state championship game in Connecticut?
Congratulations to A.J. Barber with the state championship. Yeah, 130 yards receiving and a thrown touchdown.
Greenwich High School, Connecticut. What a play. Jameis Winston and the Bucs back to work from the 25. Winston stays on his feet, and then he is wrapped up, taken down by A.J. Klein.
Yeah, no going there for Jameis Winston. Good job by the Saints defense keeping him in the pocket on this particular occasion. This is A.J. Klein. You're going to eventually see this pocket just, it's sound. Look at the defenders. Nobody's going past the football. You got two guys in front of the ball, so there's nowhere for him to skate. And you've seen him been out on the run a number of times a day. Great job there by that Saints D.
Second sack for the Saints today. Loss of 4, second down and 14. Winston underhand flip to Jaquiz Rodgers. And Rodgers will be knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
That play didn't look right from the get-go. I couldn't tell if Jameis was trying to pitch that or if this was supposed to be an underhand type throw. I think he was a little late in the action. He started out going the other way, and the whole offensive line and the running backs running away from him. It's the only way he could get the ball to him.
Last time Jameis may have flipped one like that, could have been at the age of 12, the same year he got an autograph from Drew Brees.
Yeah, how about that story?
He lost the wallet, though, lost the autograph. Third down and 9.
He said his dad still holds him accountable for losing it. That's funny.
Bucs must get to the 35-yard line. Winston in trouble. And down he goes, Cam Jordan. You talked about him earlier as the face of this New Orleans Saints defense. Jordan comes up with his 11th sack of the season.
Just watch him work. This Cam Jordan right here. Just watch him work for this sack. The coverage downfield was really, really good, but he's getting chipped at first. Nobody picks him up as Jameis starts to scramble away. And man, this guy is a special football player. I asked him yesterday too. Do you feel like you're getting better? He's like, I'm always getting better. And it just continues to show and show and show on tape. He is definitely the leader of this Saints unit.
Loss of 13 on the play. Remember, Agger had his last punt blocked by Taysom Hill. He boots this one out to midfield. Lewis lets it bounce. And this will lead to great field position for the New Orleans Saints. The momentum is shifted. Big sack by Jordan, and now the Saints look to take the lead. Drew Brees and the Saints back on offense. A slow first half once again for this offensive unit, similar to their last game in Dallas, but took advantage of a short field, scored a touchdown on their last possession, added a 2-point conversion. 3-point game as the Saints start from their 49 with Ingram in the backfield. Brees looking to throw, steps up. Near side, catch is made by Tommy Lee Lewis at the Tampa Bay 31, only his second reception of the season, and it's good for 20 yards.
Well, the Bucs are playing way off on their wide receiver. Watch the nickelback right here. He's trying to get underneath this route, but gets caught inside, and that's why he's so wide open for this delivery. And what a catch. Went up high. Little guy went up high and grabbed that thing. And Kenny, you mentioned it a second ago. Momentum has definitely switched to the New Orleans Saints. Their offense has been galvanized by that block punt by Taysom Hill. They look like they're getting ready to get on a roll here.
That 20-yard reception matches the longest play of the day for the Saints offensively. And now it's Kamara found a big hole to the Tampa Bay 23-yard line.
You just mentioned those numbers. Look at passing by distance. That was the very first one that covered 20 yards in the air by Drew Brees today. And you go into this game and I'm looking at his numbers, and the efficiency, yes, is high, 75% completions, but the yardage is way down because he's not taking those shots down the field. But you know, he's got some explosive guys, especially with Tommy Lee Lewis up at wide receiver today.
1 minute remaining, third quarter, second down and 2. Tommy Lee Lewis in motion, the handoff, Kamara, and he will not get there.
Another great play by Carl Nassib right here. He had the sack early, had the big tackle for loss. Just watch him work the end of the line of scrimmage right here. He gets some help from the linebacker, but he just dominates in the run game against a tight end. I said it earlier, defensive ends against tight ends should win every single time. He does it right here. He may have got away with a little bit of face mask too, Kenny. Big third down here.
Devontae David coming in to help finish the play as well after the initial surge by Nassib. Third down and 2 for the Saints. Play clock is at 2. They get the snap off. Breeze under pressure, connects with Kamara for New Orleans. First down inside the 20 as the clock winds down and we hit the end of the third quarter. Good one here in Tampa with the Buccaneers leading by 3. And the Saints on the move. Big block punt earlier. 14-11 Bucs. We start the fourth quarter in Tampa. Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Sarah Walsh.
Sign that kid up.
He's ready.
That's a cute picture, man.
Ready to go.
He's got his mouthpiece in and everything.
Drew Brees is ready as well. Brees throws near side. Michael Thomas. By the way, Michael Thomas is the nephew of your former teammate. You guys won a Super Bowl together. His uncle, Keyshawn Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Known that connection for a long time. Keyshawn's a heck of a player for us. This guy's a heck of a player for the Saints, though. Most targeted guy most days. And, you know, one thing that impresses me about Michael Thomas, you look at all the reception leaders across the league. He came in with 91. He only had 14 missed targets. So when Drew Brees throws a football to him, it's usually being caught.
Now up to 98. Ingram up the middle. Ingram a first down inside the Buccaneers' 5-yard line.
Again, this is just inside zone play, and you're going to watch Josh Hill, 89. You see him coming across your screen right there. Big block on Carl Nassib, who was getting ready to make that tackle. And then that big, strong running back, Ingram, powering his way down inside the 5-yard line.
Ingram and Kamara both on the field. First and goal from the Tampa Bay 4. Raekwon Smith has not caught a pass today. He's in the slot to the right. Breeze throws near side. It's Ingram. And Ingram is knocked out of bounds at the 2-yard line by Brent Grimes. Second and goal from the 3-yard line coming up for the Saints.
We saw them get creative, run a little sneaky little boot out the backside to Zach Line for the touchdown earlier, and got a tackle eligible in the game.
Michael Ola, 65. Zach Lyon has checked in. Some big bodies. Ingram in the backfield. Second and goal from the 3. It is Ingram. Down to the 2-yard line. It'll be third and goal for New Orleans.
Just watch this side of this Bucs defense just collapse this pocket and get in on this run game. It's Devontae Bond, who's in the football game now because Kevin Minter is out of the game. So Devontae Bond goes to Sam linebacker. You got a Darius Taylor at the mic. Does a great job there getting him on the ground.
Taysom Hill back on the field.
And don't be surprised if Taysom Hill has a little bit of trickery come up. Here he is. Posture at quarterback.
And now a timeout.
Timeout Tampa.
Bucs may have had 12 men on the field. We'll be back right after this message.
Kenny, I was just getting ready to say imposter at quarterback because most teams see Taysom Hill as a tight end, even though he's listed as a quarterback. But as we get ready to build up the drama there, he walks off the field. Thanks, Taysom.
Some late changes in personnel by Sean Payton.
Yeah, probably
the Bucs timeout.
Yeah, probably a good timeout by the Bucs, especially after that odd formation that they got from New Orleans. Even though they've shown it a lot this year in New Orleans, I mean.
Thomas in motion. Third and goal from the 2. Now Austin Carr shifting to the left side. Breeze, quick pass. It's Thomas. And he is stopped shy of the goal line.
You know, you talk about the innovation of offenses. There's 2 guys on the other side of the ball. They all end up over here. And watch Lavonte David breathe. He's seen this on film. I've seen this on film. He shoots his gun right away. And that disrupts the play, and then the Bucs corner is able to come in and make this tackle. Ryan Smith, that was a fantastic play by Lavonte David. Fantastic play.
So trailing by 3, the Saints leave their offense on the field with the play clock winding down. Play clock is at 2, and Saints want it pumped up once again. And a flag is thrown as the clock winds all the way down. But they do get the timeout.
You see Sean Payton, he's down on the 5-yard line yelling at these officials. And again, he's having the same problem. He wants this clock pushed back up for some reason. He's not going to get it.
And he is forced to use a second timeout with a lot of time left. So just one remaining. Saints leave the offense on the field on 4th down, trailing by 3.
Sean Payton told us yesterday he had one regret, maybe not kicking a field goal last week at Dallas. Went for it on 4th down and got stuffed. See if it comes back on him here or if he comes up with a better play.
All right, here we go. 4th and goal. Ingram in the backfield with the fullback line as Breeze goes over the top for a Saints touchdown.
He definitely broke the plane here. This is a Drew Brees special. I've seen this so many times. Look, 4th down, there's nothing to lose if you fumble the football, so you can put it in harm's way. Yep, that's a cross. Got to know that's coming. There was no corresponding jumper on the Bucs defense. And Drew Brees gets this Saints team the lead for an old guy. He got up there, didn't he?
I like that term, Ronnie. No corresponding jumper. Haven't heard that one.
I'm piecing together the English language.
That's his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. Saints lead the league in rushing touchdowns. Lutz with the extra point. The Saints have their first lead of this game. They trailed 14-3 at the half. Breeze up and over the top. This was the turning point. Brian Anger had his punt blocked by Taysom Hill. Back in the 3rd quarter, the Saints to that point had not scored a touchdown today. They would reach the end zone, and then Breeze moments ago on 4th and 1 up and over the top. His 4 rushing touchdowns, Rondé, at the age of 39, a new career high. He had 3 back in the 2013 season. Coming out of the end zone after he slipped is Bobo Wilson. There is a flag.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Receiving team, number 82, with an illegal double team block. Half the distance to the goal. Tampa Bay keeps the ball. First down. That's
on Anthony O'Clair.
That's part of the new rule. I haven't heard that one called all year in any of my games. So they've eliminated that from football because of the injury concerns on the coverage guys running full speed. They did it to Taysom Hill. And this is a guy who's been one of the most impactful special team player in the league so far this year. And that's the double team, Ronald Jones and O'Clair. That's the penalty.
So the Bucs lose 15 yards, and they will start from their 9-yard line. Worst starting field position of this game for Tampa Bay. Winston hands it off on 1st down, and Barber takes it out to the 13-yard line before he is spun back by Vaughn Bell. Jameis Winston with no turnovers once again today, but when you look at the 11 picks he has thrown this season, Rondé, most of them when trailing, when he has to take some chances downfield.
Well, can he be that guy? And not only that guy game to game in situations, and this is the toughest situation he's had since he's been back starting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Down in a game finally. They led San Francisco the whole game. They led most of Carolina. He's going to need to put together a drive here.
Winston on 2nd and 6. Under pressure, there is a flag as Winston throws it out of bounds. He was being chased by Tyler Davison.
And some of that being simple, that the thought of for Jameis is not throwing the football into tough situations, right? And so he tries to extend plays, and that puts a lot of stress, Kenny, on your offensive line. We've seen a number of holding calls from this Bucs offense today. I think this one they're signaling, if you look at him, might be a personal foul of some sort.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, number 69. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, 3rd down.
That's on DeMar Dotson. Due to the field position, they'll take the play, so the Buccaneers lose the down.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be a big enough penalty to put you down. And you see DeMar Dotson, top of your screen, number 69 right here. Watches collar of Cam Jordan, and that's the call.
Well, 3rd down and 6. Bucs must get to the 19 for a first down. Trailing the Saints by 4. Ball and count, movement, or flags.
False start. Offense, number 65, 69. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Same guy, DeMar Dotson. Game break, Los Angeles. Kurt.
Well, we've talked about how the New England Patriots have lost 4 of the last 5 years at Miami. Could it be 5 of 6? Bryce Butler with a 23-yard touchdown reception from Tannehill. And the Dolphins are up by 1 in the 4th quarter. Kenny, Rondé, and Sarah.
Well, speaking of streaks, Buccaneers have never beat the Saints 3 straight times. Looking to do that today. 3rd down and 11. Winston from the end zone. He throws, and it was off the hands of Adam Humphries. So the Bucs will punt it away.
That was a crucial 3rd down throw, and Jameis is high all the way here. Footwork looks fine, the delivery's fine, but there's no way that he's going to be able to get through that. And went through 2 guys. Chris Godwin right behind had a chance to snag this too.
First Humphries and then Godwin.
That's got to be a mistimed route. Those 2 receivers shouldn't be in that same area at the same time.
So now Anchor from his end zone. Good kick. Backpedaling Tommy Lee Lewis takes it out to 30. Lewis out to the 45-yard line. 15 on the return, a 62-yard punt by Anchor. Excellent field position for the Saints, leading by 4. Look at Drew Brees, first half, second half, perfect since halftime, 9 of 9, with a rushing touchdown as well.
Well, it's been somewhat of a gritty performance, hasn't it, Kenny, by this Saints offense? They had nothing going in the first half, but that block punt, this offense really found its stride here, and they got a chance to really put something on Tampa now.
They start from their 47, Kamara back to Brees, and then it's Brees not able to connect with Traquan Smith.
Jordan Whitehead saves this play. I mean, it's such a long developing play. Traquan has so much time to catch this ball. It takes forever to get to him. See the dive. You see this play all over the league. Kamara with the backwards pass, and then just watch Jordan Whitehead come into your screen at the last second. Everybody falls for it on the Bucs, and this hit right there at the end jars it loose. Really good play by Jordan Whitehead, staying into that play, because that was going to be a huge one.
That's the first incompletion thrown by Brees here in the second half. 2nd down and 10. This is Kamara. Across midfield. Whitehead the tackle. Kamara into Tampa Bay Buccaneers territory. The Bucs 48. Setting up a 3rd down and 5. Only 39 total yards for Alvin Kamara today. Bucs have held him in check.
Oh, they're doing their job on him. He was their main playmaker. 39 yards is a shocking number for a guy of that talent.
3rd down and 5. Brees throws to the outside. Catch is made by Thomas for a Saints first down. That's his 9th catch today, number 100 on the season, gain of 11.
Well, I got to tell you, when they need the catch, they're going to him. Why not? Bucs are playing zone coverage out there. He's bunch formation. I say this all the time. Teams reduce formations so they can expand at the snap of the ball, and takes the corners off the line of scrimmage in a must-stop situation. Mike Thomas runs a good route and great delivery from his quarterback.
2nd straight season in triple digits. Caught 104 balls last year. On first down, it's Ingram. Pushing his way to the 35-yard line, gain of 2. As we approach 9 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter, Buccaneers led 14-3 at the half. The turning point, the block punt by Taysom Hill. The Saints have scored touchdowns on their last 2 possessions.
I think everybody, whimsically was thinking this was going to be another explosive game. Both offenses are high-flying, score a lot of points, but This game, almost every time at home, it comes down to a gritty little battle, and it's not always high scoring.
Right, whenever these two teams get together here in Tampa, they've played close games over the last 5-6 years. Pass complete, Benjamin Watson. Another Saints first down to the Bucs 26-yard line.
Vita Vea is a step away from getting to Drew Brees here. This is a great rush move from the big guy. Watch this, just uses his hands, pulls through. If Drew Brees has to hold that a second longer, it's a sack, a big sack, which the Bucs needed, but instead he finds his tight end wide open over the middle. And I think it's important right now. The Bucs, if they want to pull any kind of upset, they need to get a stop right now. Field goal, still give yourself a chance, a touchdown here. I don't know if they have enough with the way the Saints defense has played in the second half.
Kamara split out to the left, Ingram in the backfield. Now Kamara comes in motion and takes the handoff. Alvin Kamara inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line of the Bucs.
I feel like this Bucs defense, it's been almost, right? It's been almost making a couple of plays. Watch JPP right here in the line of scrimmage. You know, this is just, he can play wide receiver. Alvin Kamara has for this team, but JPP's got to hold that edge. He's not able to do it, and there's that smooth running style. He is so good running with the football. I know one thing about this guy right here, JPP. He leaves it all on the field. He's been beat up all season long. But right now, he's got to find a way to galvanize his defense and make a play.
Ingram picks up a first down and more. Still going to the end zone. Touchdown, Mark Ingram.
That's a dagger right there. This is a phenomenal run by Mark Ingram. There is some early penetration by Gerald McCoy, and he just sidesteps it and hits pay dirt running through some tackles. Watch this early penetration and watch this move, this lateral quickness, power running by Mark Ingram. If you don't wrap him up, he's not going to the ground, man. And trying to drag his shirt, that ain't going to help either. This is what this Saints offense is all about, running the football effectively when it matters, and there you go.
The extra point is good. Saints offense is back. Touchdowns on 3 consecutive possessions. Ingram into the end zone. Saints extend their lead. There's Deuce McAllister, middle of your screen. Saints radio analyst. Mark Ingram has just tied McAllister most rushing touchdowns in Saints franchise history.
Working with Zach Strief.
Zach on the right. First year as play-by-play announcer. See, anyone can become a play-by-play announcer following a career as an offensive lineman, right?
Nobody will be as good as you, Kitty.
He's better than me on the O-line, I'll tell you that.
Well, this run is just awesome. Just running for power. You know, you want to be able to force your will on teams when you have a lead. That's just so good. First one over. Congratulate him, Sean Payton. And we can talk again about the importance of this game for the New Orleans Saints. They want a first-round bye in a home game in the playoffs, and they have the tiebreaker if the Rams lose another football game. So there's a good chance.
That's if the Saints win out and the Rams lose one. Rams in Chicago tonight. Winston in this second half just 1 for 7. He's been sacked twice. Has time, throws, complete to Jacquizz Rodgers out at the 30 for a gain of 5.
Well, this offense has done nothing in the second half. They haven't been able to sustain drives. They haven't been able to even change field position. So they're going to have to start taking some chances. We're going to see if Jameis Winston can find that magic, get this Bucs team on the scoreboard again.
Pass caught by Mike Evans for a Bucs first down. Remember, they missed a field goal early in the third quarter after the Brees fumble. That would have given Tampa Bay a 17-3 lead. They also missed a field goal in the first half. Look at Winston's numbers since halftime, just 3 of 9. So 2 missed field goals by the Bucs. Saints have scored touchdowns on their last 3 drives. Winston again hit as he got rid of it. 6:34 remaining. We check in with Kurt.
All right, a game to watch in the AFC. Baltimore at Kansas City. Lamar Jackson. This is his second touchdown pass of the game to John Brown. More importantly, it puts the Ravens up by a score inside the 2-minute warning at the Chiefs.
Kenny. Thanks, Kurt. Chiefs only 2 losses on the season. Second down and 10. Saints have lost only 2. Opening week to the Bucs. Last week in Dallas. Winston on second down. The pass was high. He was looking for Humphreys. 3rd and 10 coming up.
No, it's about the 3rd high pass that I've seen from Jameis. And this one's acceptable because of the pressure in his face. Watch this push up front. He can bring a little bit of stunt inside. Someone right in his throwing lane. I think that's Anzalone. Forces this throw to go high. And yes, this Bucs offense still struggling right now in the second half, just completing passes. I would not be surprised, Kenny, if they go for on 4th down here, and the type of play call you get here will probably dictate whether or not they do.
Right, trailing by 11. They need 2 scores. Winston again under pressure. Initially tried to spin away, and then he is taken down by Sheldon Rankins. So now the Bucs will send out the punting unit.
I feel like this offense is just it's turned into the I got to try to make plays on the second reaction, escaping. He had a wide open receiver. Chris Godwin was running right across the middle, uncovered. He just didn't get the ball to him. This ball's got to go to him right now. It's wide open, right there. It's wide open. Jameis Winston decides to hold it, takes a sack. It's the last thing that they needed right there in that situation.
That's the 4th sack for the Saints defense today. 17 over the last 3 games. Agger boots it downfield. Taken at the 30 by Tommy Lee Lewis. Cuts to the outside. And is tackled at the 41-yard line. Well, Sean Payton emphasized to his team earlier this week how important that first-round bye is. Getting the 1 or 2 seed. He'd love the number 1. Right now it's the Rams at 11-1, but if they finish tied, Saints have the tiebreaker by virtue of their 45-35 win over Los Angeles back in early November. He said to his team, to get one of those top 2 seeds, all you have to do is win a home game. You're in the NFC Championship game. To get the number 1 seed, you win a home game and you host the NFC Championship game. He also told his current squad about his history with the Saints. They've never lost a playoff game at home. And on the road, they have won only once in 6 postseason games. And he said to us, you know, a lot of the young players, they don't know. They don't know how it works. They don't know the history. So he put this all up on the board when they came back in their first time together early this week following the loss to Dallas.
I thought it was interesting, too, what he told us, that they're not looking past this game. They obviously want to win this football game. It wasn't about avenging week 1 at all. This was about playoffs, 100% about playoffs. They know they're going to be in the playoffs, no matter what happens today, whether they win or Carolina lost, who are currently losing to Cleveland, wins the division for them, so they're in the playoffs. The imperativeness is to get that first-round bye. That graphic is telling. You hate to go back to historical references and say it's going to matter now, but obviously in Sean Payton's mind, it does matter, and they want to be one of those top 2 seeds, preferably the top.
Now Breeze rolling right. And his throw is low, intended for Kamara. It's actually refreshing. You know, most coaches you talk to, it doesn't matter what sport.
Absolutely.
It's always looking at the next game and not past it. But when we chatted with Sean Payton yesterday, yes, this game obviously foremost on his mind, but it's more about big picture and trying to get that number 1 seed, if not getting the number 2 seed, and emphasizing the importance of not playing that first week and getting the bye into the divisional round.
That's a great insight, Kenny, because it's not just the foe that's in front of you, which is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or who will it be, Carolina next week, and Pittsburgh and Carolina. Yes, those games matter, but it's all about playoffs for this team.
Bird down at 10. On the screen, it is Kamara, and he will pick up a first down. A huge play as we approach 5 minutes on the clock. Kamara on the screen gains 15.
Well, again, there's no blitz, and the running back crosses the formation. It's a screen, 100%. And you see the Bucs are playing a kind of a soft zone defense, trying to keep everything in front of you. But when you do that, you open up all that room. And when you have this kind of runner, Alvin Kamara, look at that patience. That's just, how do you learn that as a young runner?
That's your brother.
Yeah, right? He's a special football player. You put him in space, he's going to do good things.
Bucs call timeout with 5:04 remaining. Coming up on Fox, America's Game of the Week. With Giants leading the Redskins 40-16. Another big NFC East matchup. Eagles and Cowboys. Dallas at 7-5. Philadelphia 6-6. Washington getting blown out today. They will drop to 6-7. Mark Sanchez getting pulled. Huge day for Saquon Barkley. This is Kamara. And Kamara using a block from Austin Carr. Picks up another Saints first down.
They feel comfortable right now. Running game's getting going finally, and it'll be important for them to get on schedule. You look at their remaining schedule. You mentioned it just a second ago. 2 games at the Panthers, which I think is completely unfair to play 2 teams in 3 weeks. But that Steeler game is huge for them. Need to find a way to win at least 2 of those games, I think, if they're going to try to get this #1 seed. Because the Los Angeles Rams, they only have really 1 tough game if you look at their schedule, and that's tonight against Chicago.
Next game for New Orleans will be a week from tomorrow, Monday night in Charlotte. As Ingram gets tripped up by Jason Pierre-Paul, the Buccaneers are out of timeout, so the clock continues to run. Michael Ola is the injured Saint. But for New Orleans, they've scored touchdowns on their last 3 possessions after they had gone 18 possessions over 3 games with only 1 TD. But again, it was a special teams play, Rondé, that was the turning point. The block punt by Mr. Everything, Taysom Hill.
Well, it's been what you want in the second half for the Saints. I mean, we were both sitting up here questioning what's going on with this offense. 6 quarters of football, and they hadn't scored really only 1 touchdown last week against Dallas. So their response, though, from that special teams play, I think was the crucial play of the game. You're going to look back at this game as a head coach of the Bucs, of the Saints, and say there was 1 play that changed it, and it was Taysom Hill's block punt. You're exactly right, kid.
Right, we were standing in this exact spot at halftime, and I asked you what's wrong with the Saints offense, and then that block by Hill would turn things around for New Orleans as Breeze would connect with Zach Line. And then remember, they go for it on 4th down, trailing by 3. They could have kicked a field goal to tie the game. They take the lead. And then it's Ingram running it in from 17 yards out.
And I mentioned it already. Forcing your will in the running game. That's what good offenses do when you have the lead late in the football game. And give Drew Brees some credit. He's not going to probably throw for 200 yards again today, but he's found a way to work his offense toward a victory. There's 2 huge touchdown drives at the half were the turning point here in this football game, and the Bucs just have not been able to answer.
Michael Ola helped off. Backup offensive lineman. You talked about the lack of success in the run game in the first half. Saints gained only 3 yards on the ground prior to halftime. They have 92 during the second half, 50 for Ingram and Kamara with 41. There they are, on cue.
It's nice to have that compliment. I actually asked Drew yesterday, too, about if there's a rivalry at all, and he said, no, man, they got a great friendship. It's strong. You know, they personally root for each other, and I think they know, you know, the combination of the 2 is what drives this offense. I look at their talent level, and it's not the greatest outside of Kamara, Ingram, and Michael Thomas. So those guys have to step up, and they have. That 10-game winning streak, it was all about being able to run the football and exposing those 3 players.
Kamara with 5 receptions today as well. Empty backfield. 2nd down and 9 for New Orleans. Breeze over the middle, it's Thomas, and then he gets submarined by Josh Shaw. That's the 10th reception for Thomas today, just shy of the marker. Saints now using as much of the clock as they can. Bucs cannot stop it. They are out of timeouts. 5th time Thomas has had at least 10 receptions in a game this year. 16 in the opener against the Bucs. From the shotgun on 3rd down and 1. Breeze to the far side and a diving catch attempt is made by Thomas, but it hit the turf.
I see you saving that right there. Catch attempt by Michael Thomas. See if he brought this in, though. I was getting ready to say, man, that's spectacular. Yeah, I don't know. Did he have control? I mean, I think it popped back up. They're going to say it was incomplete, but great attempt at a catch there.
Like what I did there, huh?
I see what you did.
I know you had some tricks back in your playing days.
He's going to challenge it. How about it, Sean?
Well, the catch or non-catch took place just in front of the Saints sideline.
Oh, it's 100% about control, right? It's not no control there. Control there, it looks like, and the ball can touch the ground.
The rule on the field of an incomplete pass.
Second and third look at this, Kenny. This might be a catch. Let's bring in Dean. Dean will have a better perspective for us. Dean, what do you think about this?
Well, I think you were right on it. For an old defensive back, you can explain catch, no catch really well. The issue is going to be control. Does he have firm control of the ball before it touches the ground? This is a great look. He's got both hands on it. Now it looks like he controls it there. The ball touches the ground. Now, does he maintain that control? Is he repositioning his hands on it, or does he lose control at any point? It was ruled incomplete on the field. If there's any doubt, they're going to stay with it. But I do think that this is a catch. It does look like he maintained control.
I agree. Looking at it the second time, Dean, I was unsure. It looked like it bounced up after he caught it, but that's in real time. In slow time, it didn't look at all like that ball moved. So challenge this just because at this point you pretty much have the game in hand. Just trying to pump up Michael Thomas's stats here for the game.
So Dean thinks to catch, Rondé thinks to catch, but again, as Dean pointed out, it was ruled an incompletion on the field. Sean Payton watching the replay on the video board.
Dean, this shouldn't take this long, right, to decide this, or?
You know, if they are going to change it, they're going to have to determine, okay, what is the next spot, down distance, all of those
Very
things.
true.
Now, they could be just determining, you know, do we have enough to change it? Like we talked about, control is so subjective, and you and I may think it's control, and the referee in New York may not, and that's the key. If there's any doubt, they stay with the call on the field. And I think it's that last movement there of the football that they're trying to determine, does he ever lose control of it?
Here comes Jerome Boger.
After reviewing the play, it is a completed catch.
There you go.
You will see them control the ball and maintain control throughout contact with the ground. It will be New Orleans ball, 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 3 minutes, 31 seconds.
Well, Drew Brees pumping his fist. Dean, I know you're doing the same in Los Angeles. You got it right, so did Rondé.
Yeah, we're high-fiving here in the studio, but that is, you know, good job, good challenge, good use of replay, because again, it's a big play in the game and they got it.
Hey, Dean, do you keep track of the times you were right and wrong during the season?
No, I won't. The other guy does. I'm not going to say his name, but the other guy does.
Well, you can probably use one hand for the amount of times that Dean and Mike don't get it right. Thanks, Dean. So the Saints will continue their drive. Brees goes over 200 yards, Rondé, under 200 the last 2 weeks. He had never been under 200 yards passing 3 straight games in one season.
Hey, let's make 5-4. Ready? Hey, Vaughn. We're ready. Let's go.
From the 14-yard line, it's Singram. Flag on the play.
Holding. Offense, number 42. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
That's on Zach Line. By the way, Mark Ingram, Heisman Trophy winner, as a sophomore back in 2009. Jameis Winston won the Heisman, and they both had a vote. The past winners are a part of the process.
Mark Ingram also, we'd be remiss to say, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee from the New Orleans Saints. Fantastic job. Gerald McCoy is the corresponding one on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Congratulations to both. Brees split out to the right. Taysom Hill will take the snap. First down and 20 following the penalty as Hill hands it off to Kamara. And he takes it down to the 15-yard line as we approach 3 minutes remaining. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Chiefs trailing 24-17 late in the fourth. 4th and 3. Patrick Mahomes continues to do it. Connects with running back Damian Williams for this 5-yard score. We're all tied up at 24 with under a minute remaining. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Carissa. The Chiefs clinched a playoff berth with a win. So they are tied 24 apiece with the Baltimore Ravens. Again, Hill will take the snap. Breeze split out to the right. Hill hands it off. It's Kamara once again.
I wonder if Drew likes these plays. I mean, he's obviously given up a lot of snaps over this course of this year to Taysom Hill. He's kind of bored out here. He's not going to do anything.
He was a great decoy. Drew Brees with a rushing touchdown earlier. We'll head over to the sidelines as we hit the 2-minute warning. Saints have things under control. Touchdowns on their last 3 possessions here in Tampa. Clinch a playoff berth and the division with a win. Back in Tampa, our game summary. Saints held to 3 rush yards in the first half. Buccaneers, not a good day on special teams. 2 missed field goals. They had a punt blocked. 22 unanswered points for the Saints in the span of 12 minutes, 17 seconds here in the second half.
Let's see if Drew Brees moves at all.
Looked like a statue on the last play. Hill off the fake will be tackled back at the 18-yard line by Josh Shaw. Bucs out of timeouts. Taysom Hill made the key play in this game, that block punt back in the 3rd quarter.
They're just taking this down. They'll take a timeout before they put the field goal unit on.
They have 1 timeout remaining. So with the clock winding down and the play clock hitting 1, Sean Payton uses his final timeout. 1:15 remaining. A look at Ingram and Kamara's numbers today. And for more on that combination, back to Sarah.
Yeah, Kenny, Ingram and Kamara are so close that the two spoke almost every day when Ingram was out serving that 4-game suspension to start the season. Kamara told me that he would hear from Ingram after every game, telling him what he saw, just trying to give him an outsider's perspective. And Ingram said that Kamara has been his guy from day one, just because he never came in acting like he knew it all, but as someone who just really wanted to get better.
All right, thanks, Sarah. They have combined to score 21 touchdowns this season for the Saints. Ingram had one earlier this quarter. There is Lutz, who hit from 30 earlier. This will be a 36-yard attempt. Kick is good. Saints now lead by 14 with 1:12 remaining. It was 14-3 Bucs at halftime. So the Saints have now scored 25 consecutive as they've turned things around in the second half.
Well, I think going forward, though, Kenny, they got to find a way to start games faster. And you got really a 3-game schedule to do that. Panthers, Pittsburgh, Panthers. They're going to be tough tests on defense for this New Orleans offense. Look, they have the explosive ability. I think some of these young receivers, they really have to step up and take some charge of this offense and responsibility. It can't be the Michael Thomas show all day, every day, because eventually they're going to run across a defense that's going to just take him away. The Bucs done a pretty good job taking Alvin Kamara away today. They've had to find other ways to win.
Aside from Thomas, wide receivers have only 3 receptions today for the Saints. Thomas with 11. Saints leading by 14. Great job by our entire crew here in Tampa. Our producer Barry Landis, director Jeremy Green, Associate Director Joe Williams, Broadcast Associate Jonathan Biles, our technical producer Ron McGuggins, Technical Director Damon McGavick, our statisticians Dave Corris and Rick Camps, and our spotter in the booth is Ben Boma. Ball has blown off the tee. Heavy rains earlier today, but weather did not really have an impact on this game.
No, we really thought it would, and be kind of a slug out, run the ball type of day, but it's been pretty nice as far as It was funny talking to Sean Payton, too. He's like, looked at the weather report Monday, 100%. Weather report Tuesday, 100%. Wednesday, 100%. And then, you had that brief shower to start the day, but really not a factor at all.
On the other side, Tampa Bay Bucs had won their last 2. 4-2 record here at home, and they had things under control in the first half. Couple of touchdown passes from Jameis Winston to Cameron Brate, 14-3 lead, and then that block punt, the turning point. Saints have scored 25 straight. Coming up, we'll take you to bonus coverage of the Carolina Panthers and the Cleveland Browns, followed by the State Farm game break. New Orleans clinches the division with a win, or Carolina lost, but things under control for the Saints, leading by 14 with 1:08 remaining. And how about the Panthers? We've seen them a lot this season. They had a record of 6-2. They lost their last 4 and are now trailing the Browns with under a minute to go in Cleveland.
Yeah, this division's kind of evaporated outside of New Orleans. Tampa obviously came in winning 2 in a row, but you said it, Kenny. They've lost 4 in a row. The Falcons have lost 4 in a row, on their way to 5 in a row, getting smoked by Green Bay today. So it's a runaway for New Orleans in the NFC South.
Right, if the Panthers lose, the Saints would be the only team in the division with a winning record. As Rodgers picks up a first down. And Drew Brees today threw a touchdown pass, ran for 1. Now has 31 TDs, only 4 interceptions on the season. He's never won the MVP award during the regular season. Of course, he won the Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 44, but he will certainly be one of the leading candidates this year.
I think that probably eats at him a little bit. He's done everything. He's accomplished everything. You put that moniker on him, the GOAT, greatest of all time. Well, his numbers are going to play that out, but I know he really wants an MVP award to his name as well. But he's getting pushed by Mahomes. Mahomes having such a magical year for Kansas City in his first year as a starter is probably his biggest competition there.
Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs having a tremendous season. Mahomes 41 touchdown passes coming in to play today. Brees now with 31 this year and 519 in his career. Brees and Hill, they embrace Taysom Hill with that block punt, which led to the first of 3 consecutive touchdowns for the New Orleans Saints in their comeback here in Tampa as Winston throws it through the end zone. 14 seconds remaining. Well, we check out the MVP candidates, their numbers heading into this weekend. Brees, you mentioned Mahomes. How about Todd Gurley out in Los Angeles, his teammate Aaron Donald, and Phillip Rivers of the LA Chargers.
Yeah, the Chargers get overlooked because of play of the Los Angeles Rams in their same market, but yeah, Phillip Rivers had a fantastic year too, but I think it's a 2-man race at this point.
It is over in Cleveland, so the Saints officially clinch the division due to the Carolina Panthers loss before they wrap up this game.
Offense, number 69, 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
9 seconds remaining here to Carissa.
What a finish in Miami. So Ryan Tannehill drops back, connects with Kenny Stills, who pitches to Devontae Parker to Kenyon Drake as time expires. The Dolphins, you guys, a game-winning touchdown over the Patriots. The final score, 34-33. Kenny Rondé, Sarah.
Kenny Stills, the ex-Saint, involved in that play. As Winston throws, it is picked off in the end zone. Marshawn Lattimore. So 1 second remaining. That's the first time Winston has turned it over in the last 3 games. Lattimore with the pick and the exclamation point on this game. And win number 11 for Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints.
Marshawn Lattimore, I think he gets both feet in here. And yeah, Jameis Winston's last pick was a similar type throw, Hail Mary type delivery at the end of the game, but it really was not a good day for this Tampa Bay offense in the second half. They got nothing going. Just give a lot of credit to that Saints defense. They have been the catalyst, really, even through that 10-game winning streak. Yes, the offense is explosive, but Dennis Allen's unit played well again today. They played well last week in the loss. You know, sacked Dak Prescott 7 times last week. They got to Jameis a number of times this week. That's going to be big for them going into the late season, into the playoffs.
Saints clinch the division by virtue of their win. Carolina's loss, they only needed 1. Champions of the NFC South, now 11-2. For Ronde Barber and Sarah Walsh, this is Kenny Albert to Los Angeles for the State Farm Game Break Show.